Sculpture of a coracle and a sevensman. The relics of industry everywhere. It's getting really wild in the Ironbridge Gorge. Serious work going on here, but that will be listed. So probably grade 2, so all the exterior finish has to be the same as it's always been when it was built. So welcome back to Third Rate Content. Today we're in the iconic Ironbridge, and we're going to have an explore around the bridge. We're going to learn some history about it and have a little look around the town of Ironbridge. So buckle up and I'll see you out here. So what we're looking at here, the Ironbridge, is the oldest iron bridge in the world. It was built in 1779. Yeah, that kind of rust colour it is now was changed from a sort of grey colour it had been preceding that when it was refurbished about 4 years ago. Yeah, the Ironbridge Gorge, River Severn, running through this valley that has hills on either side. You've got Telford going over the hill that way. But if you'd gone back 250 years, this area wouldn't be the beautiful showpiece gorge that it is now. It would actually be like a hell on earth. Visitors to the area remarked that that Coalbrookdale was like Hades, and River Severn was like the River Styx, because there was furnaces here working 24 hours a day, all along the bank here and all around us, conducting industry and industrial tasks. It wasn't the pretty World Heritage Site that we have with us today. Yeah, because after the bridge was built in 1879, the town of Ironbridge as we know it today shot up around it, or started sprouting up. You got the church called St. Luke's Church, which was actually built back to front. The tower should have been obviously at the back here, and it should have been the other way around, but the actual ground at this side wasn't strong enough, so it had to be adapted. Yeah, the valley around here, it is called the birthplace of the Industrial Revolution, and it was the most highly industrialized area in the world from about late 1700s to the mid 1800s, when other cities kind of superseded it.
Locked you in, pal, so you can't get out. I knew it was yours. All right? Yeah,
So, bridge here, got the toll houses here. Of course, this was a toll bridge from just a year or two after it opened, 1781 I think, and then right up to the 1950s, and it made quite a lot of money, well, a lot of money from its tolls. It is actually thought that this structure was the original toll house, and then this one replaced it. You can see this wall bulging out, so you can see why the old toll cottage, which is just up there, isn't straight. sort of little hidden area. I don't think everybody who visits Ironbridge makes their way down here, probably. Yeah, there was a lot more former industrial buildings down here, but we lost them. They sort of went in the 1950s, 1960s and 1970s, but they would have been all along here. But now it all just looks like a lovely sort of picturesque riverbank. But as I said before, it really wasn't in its heyday. The iron bridge was built using techniques from making timber bridges, because obviously it was the very early days of iron bridges, and the only techniques they knew was timber. So that they replicated that, but in iron. So you've got dovetails, etc. Yeah, and Abraham Darby III was only 23 when he actually built this bridge. A young man, and you can see it had that young man cockiness about it. But it did cost Abraham Darby III. He started a sort of company to finance the bridge, the building of the bridge, and it cost twice as much as it was budgeted as costing. It cost £6,000, which must have been a massive sum in 1779, even a large sum to me today. But it came in twice over budget, and it nearly bankrupted Abraham Darby III's company. But luckily, the money was recouped from the tolls that we just talked about over 12 years. So it didn't bankrupt him, but it was a close call. Abraham Darby III was hoping that this showcase of his company's talents and his own talents would get him work all around Europe. He'd be building bridges over valleys in Italy, Russia, or wherever, but it didn't quite work out like that. Yeah, iron bridges became very popular, but basically people stole his idea. You had industrial spies coming from all over Europe, you know, Italy, Switzerland, you name it, and it didn't work out like Abraham Darby III thought. He didn't get the work directly, but his innovations spread all around the world. Yeah, the reason this area, formerly Coalbrookdale, the Ironbridge Gorge, now Telford, was known as the birthplace of the Industrial Revolution, was because all the raw materials that were needed for ceramics, iron, everything were readily available close to the surface around here. And that would be why the Industrial Revolution was born here. Of course, the Industrial Revolution was not born in one place overnight. Yeah, the Tontine Hotel opened just a few years after the Iron Bridge, because the area, despite its heavy industrialisation, did become a place to visit. Not least thanks to the Iron Bridge itself right behind me. The hotel was a bit smaller when it first opened. You can actually see a different shade of colour on the bricks from these last two bays to the first three. Obviously the first three were the original part of the hotel, and then sometimes later the last two bays were added, because obviously the hotel was doing very well. Yeah, just go for a little walk up this very secluded, cute little courtyard really. It's very interesting, tucked away here, sort of a chocolate boxy. And of course it leads up to the natural hill at this side of the Ironbridge Gorge. Art Deco window dressing in a Georgian house. And now we've got a little bit of a bonus on our IRONBRIDGE video today. While I was doing my third-rate research for IRONBRIDGE, I did come across something that I found interesting, which is the rock music group IRONBRIDGE. We're going to find out a bit about them now. Yeah, so what you had wasn't four lads from Liverpool who shook the world, or even four lads from the Wirral who shook the world. It was four lads from the River Severn and from IRONBRIDGE in particular who nearly shook the world. They sold out venues like nobody else in mid Wales in the early 1970s, and they sold quite a lot of records in France, and that is IRONBRIDGE. What we're looking at here is the album cover of their only album. In the early mid 1970s, the four lads of IRONBRIDGE would have been standing right about here. No, it's not Laurel Canyon. It's IRONBRIDGE Gorge. I imagine it's changed a bit. It's been landscaped since those days. It looked like it was just grass verge then. But you could definitely see on the album cover this hotel peeking through. And this house here. It wasn't so much behind trees then, but it was like a little black and white house. Also, sadly, there's no sign of the 1970s yellow hippie van. I don't know what type or make model it is. If anybody does know, feel free to comment and tell us. Yeah, their eponymous album was released in 1973 on the EMI International label. Yeah, reviewers were very favourable to IRONBRIDGE, comparing them to late period Beatles, early 1970s Hollies, or the Moody Blues of that era. So, you know, they were well thought of by the music critics of the day. Yeah, the group evolved out of the members' former group, Fluff, and then the Birds and the Bees. Kind of slightly unfortunately named groups, if you ask me, but then again, I didn't make it as big as them. And then some. So that was the third-rate visit to IRONBRIDGE. I've very much enjoyed my walk around IRONBRIDGE today, but there's so much more to do in this area. There's up to 10 museums in the area. You've got the Bliss Hill Museum that I have visited as a child, but we will visit it again, and many more. Yeah, so we'll be coming back around here in future in 2023, but today's video I'm making up because I did assure someone I was going to cover IRONBRIDGE in 2022, and here I am in early 2023, so I told a bit of a fib. But I was going to do it over the Christmas period, but of course I was ill, so I'm making up for it now. So thank you for watching to the end, and if I don't see you soon, I'll see you 3 times as soon. Third-rate content signing out. Bye bye. So IRONBRIDGE are going to play us out. Take it away, IRONBRIDGE.
Keep him away, 'cause I've seen this trouble before.